great power comes great responsibilities, and such responsibilities require relentless effort. Today we have with us a man who lived this statement all his life. His sincerity, hard work and perseverance has earned him the acclamation as one of the best Lokayuktas of the state. Proud to introduce Mr. Santosh Hegde, a former judge of Supreme Court of India, former Solicitor General of India and former Lokayukta for the Karnataka state from 2006 to 2011. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
It's been a great pleasure having you on our show. You've been a very successful justice in the Supreme Court and also been successful in terms of having 5 years in Lokayukta. What was your dream when you were in school? Have you ever thought about all this?
No, I never planned my life. As a matter of fact, if at all I wanted to be something, I think I wanted to be a professional hockey player. I was playing for the former state of Mysore as well as University of Mysore in hockey when I was in college. And those were the days when hockey was, Indian hockey was very famous world over because we had been the consecutively Olympic champions for many Olympics. And Bangalore especially had very many clubs, both private as well as industrial clubs, encouraging hockey. I thought maybe one day I become a professional player and when I retire I may become a coach or something like that. Okay. And that was my thinking, as I wouldn't say an ambition. But things went the other way. I finished my intermediate and I went to BSc at Central College. Then nothing would come my way. So my father, who was a High Court judge, then said, "Why don't you do law?" And he said you could keep continuing to play hockey because law is only from 7 in the morning till 10 in the morning. It was a part-time course-like thing. And you can play hockey in the evening. That was his suggestion. I took it up. And I finished my law, nothing came. And my father said, "Why don't you join practice?" And he suggested the name of a very senior lawyer who was also earlier an Advocate General of the state of Karnataka, which was just opposite to my house.
Okay.
I said, no, it's too big an office for me. Then he said, "Choose your own office." So I chose an office of a constitutional law professor. Somehow I took a liking to him and I went and asked him, "Can I join your office?" He said, "Most certainly." It was a middle order office, but a lot of work was there. He really trained me like his own brother and encouraged me a lot. And as luck would have it, 5 years later, he became a High Court judge. So okay. I got a ready-made office.
Right.
And I managed to keep it without many cases going out of the office. Then in 1975, another incident took place which had a tremendous influence or impact on my professional career. That was declaration of emergency in this country.
Oh, okay.
4 members of parliament were detained in Bangalore and I became their lawyer. And when I went to jail, I saw them. They were Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Mr. L.K. Advani, Mr. Madhu Dandavati, Mr. S.N. Mishra.
Okay.
And in the jail were Mr. Ramakrishna Hegde, Mr. Deve Gowda and such other opposition leaders were all in Bangalore Central Jail. So as I started visiting the jail as often as could, my interaction with them grew. And for nearly 18 months, they were in Bangalore jail until they were released because emergency was lifted and they were all released and all. During this process, something else happened in my life. When the case was coming up for final hearing, I really did not have the courage to argue the case because I may lose the case and it's such an important case.
Okay.
So I went on personal expenses, I went to Mumbai, I met Mr. M.C. Chagla, who was former Chief Justice of Mumbai High Court, later Union Education Minister. Okay. He had a very high profile, so I requested him to come and argue the case. He said yes, he'll come. I went to Delhi, I met 2 persons, Mr. Shanti Bhushan, who was actually responsible for declaration of emergency because he argued the case against Mrs. Gandhi. Okay. He agreed to come. I met Mr. Solicitor, one senior lawyer, and he agreed to come. Then I met K.K. Venugopal in Madras, then Madras, now Chennai. He agreed to come. They all came and argued the case and we succeeded. And the Karnataka High Court declared the emergency as an act in malice. Okay. But anyway, the matter went to Supreme Court. It was reversed in the Supreme Court. So these people continued to be in jail. But this interaction had its own effect on my personal career. In 1983, Mr. Ramakrishna Hegde became the Chief Minister of Karnataka.
Right.
And in '84, he made me the Advocate General of the state. Obviously, because I had helped them during the emergency and all. But I was able to maintain the dignity of office and successfully, I should say.
Right.
Otherwise, nobody would have cared for me.
Absolutely,
Everything.
yes.
And during my Advocate General's tenure, Mr. Sorabji was known to me pretty closely because he was coming and appearing for many companies here, and I was defending on behalf of the state. So we became good friends. You know. Then 1988, Mr. Ramakrishna Hegde resigned. And Mr. Bommai became the Chief Minister. I wanted to resign, and he said, no, you continue. I said, no, I want to resign, and I resigned. And I didn't go back to my office. I was designated senior advocate when I was Advocate General. So I wanted to start a new office. I had many juniors with me working. I gave the office, like my senior gave the office to me, I gave it to my juniors, and I took a house on rent in Walton Road. And I was practicing for about 8-9 months. The government at the center changed. Mr. VP Singh became the Prime Minister, and Mr. Solicitor became the Attorney General of India. He called me up and said, you come to Delhi as Additional Solicitor General of India. I was not keen because I had just invested some money in furnishing that house and other things, you know. I always liked Bangalore. I wanted to be in Bangalore. But he sort of persuaded me, come for some time. Nobody has come from Karnataka to hold that post, so you come. So I asked my wife, I said, I'll go for a few months and come back. And she said, okay. She didn't come. I went Delhi alone, and I stayed in Karnataka Bhavan. Things went like that for about 8-9 months. Then the government fell. Like others, I also resigned, and I wanted to come back to Bangalore, but some of my well-wishers said, you're doing pretty well. And this is a much wider field. In Karnataka, it's only Bangalore is the thing, you know. Whereas all over India will come to the Supreme Court, and you will have a better chance. You know. So I persuaded my wife to come and join me. So we took an apartment for 10,000 rupees. And practice was good. Yeah. So there was another incident that took place in 1998. Mr. Vajpayee became the Prime Minister of India. Mr. Solicitor became the Attorney General of India. I this time invited me to become the Solicitor General of India. The second highest post in the Constitution. And I accepted that. And I was there Solicitor General for another 8 or 9 months when I was offered judgeship directly from the bar to the bench. Well, I was not very keen because judge's salary was not very attractive. But someone of them, my mother came to know, and she told me that if your father were to be there, he would have been so very happy. He wanted you to become a judge, but you were not keen. And now that you're going directly to the Supreme Court, it would be very nice if you could accept it. And my mother had done so much for us. We came from a middle-class family, and she had to cook the food. She had to
So you were born and brought up in Bangalore?
Bangalore. Right? Not brought up in the sense up to my age of 16. Then I moved to Bangalore in anticipation of
So what made that move to happen, like from Bangalore to Bangalore?
You know, 1956, there was this talk of states reorganization taking place and Bangalore becoming part of the Mysore state. November 1st, 1956, that took place. So my dad sent me and my another brother to join college in Bangalore in anticipation of November. They also would come and join. So that's how we came here and we joined. And Bangalore became a...
So that's why today you are the face of Bangalore. And I also read that you also wanted to be a doctor.
My mother wanted me to become a doctor. When I passed my intermediate, I didn't get a seat in the thing because I had to compete with 1-year PUC. That was just the time when the educational curriculum changed from 2-year intermediate to 1-year PU. And they go, PU boys would go to PPC, the pre-professional classes, the thing, either medicine or engineering or thing. So I had finished my BSc, then I got an admission to Bangalore Medical College. But I went there, my classmates were very, very young, and I was nearly 18 to 20 or something, and also I was not very keen. But I had the chance of captaining 3 colleges during my college, the Central College, BSc, Bangalore Medical College, even though I was there only for 2-3 months. Then Law College, also a captain.
Fantastic. So you've also been a sports lover? Especially hockey?
Yes.
Right. So after you became the justice in the Supreme Court, then you got an opportunity to become the Lokayukta of Karnataka.
Yes, yes.
So how did it really happen? Just for the curiosity, like how does it really work?
When I was being appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court, 7 names were sent to the Supreme Court to become judges and all. And the Chief Justice had told me, I'm dividing the 2 lists. I'm sending 4 names earlier, and you and another judge, who was then the Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court, will come a week or 10 days later, because he wanted somebody else to become the Chief Justice. Rightly too, I have no qualms about that. But I'd look at it from the point of view at how it helped me out and all. When I finished my tenure as a Supreme Court judge, I was asked to take up a job with the chairperson of Telecommunication Disputes Appellate Tribunal.
Okay.
I took that job, which was for 3 years. When I completed 1 year, I got a call from the Chief Minister of Karnataka saying that the Lokayukta post is becoming vacant, and he would want me to be here as a Lokayukta.
So Mr. Kumaraswamy was
Mr.
the
Kumaraswamy was
Chief
the Chief Minister. And I just completed 1 year in TDSAT. Both of us, my wife and myself, were very happy to get back to Bangalore. So I accepted the job. Now, if I had become the Chief Justice, this offer would not have been there.
Correct.
Because it is a person's only judge of the Supreme Court is considered for the post of a
Right. So you were happy and you wanted to come back to Bangalore.
Yeah, certainly.
But did you ever think the way it really took?
As a matter of fact, when I came and read the enactment, I saw, even though that enactment was passed when I was the Advocate General, I was not very familiar with that law because I'd gone away from Bangalore. I found it is such a wonderful institution. I must use the word was such a wonderful institution which could help people from 2 problems. One is anybody is aggrieved by an order of the government or action or inaction on the part of the government can go to the Lokayukta. It could be against the Chief Minister, it could be against the Chief Secretary, it could be against anybody who's in government service.
Yes.
And then Lokayukta can inquire and find out the truth about it, and if it is found that there's really the complainant has suffered some this because of the action or inaction, then the Act gave the power to the Lokayukta to send a report to the government.
Right.
And if the government didn't act on that, you can send a report to the governor. So that's one aspect of the power. The other is using Lokayukta police and fighting corruption.
Right.
These are 2 wonderful powers which no Lokayukta had at that point of time when I was Lokayukta. And you could help so many people. That's the most important. Apart from fighting corruption, helping people who are in trouble.
When it comes to helping people, so you've been a justice also.
Yeah.
Was there any passion or because see, we have a lot of justice, we've seen a lot of Lokayuktas, but you've made a different mark, different name for yourself.
I'll tell you.
Why did that happen? I mean, what was that which was missing in others, and what is that you had in you?
When I came to the institution of Lokayukta, after reading the enactment and seeing the actions and inactions on the part of the government, I was shocked. Very often I felt I was a frog in the well until I came to that institution. I really did not know the sufferings of the people at the ground level. I was comfortable, everything else is comfortable is what I thought. But when I could see it, some of the examples I'll give shortly, it could be heart-rending. Any person with little conscience will feel that he must go out and help the people.
Right.
Actually, Lokayukta became popular prior to my tenure when Justice N. Venkatachala was Lokayukta.
That was in
2001 to 2006.
2001 to 6.
Yeah, I took over in 6 after 5 years.
Right.
And I could do another good fortune I had was I had wonderful officers, especially in the top level. It could be Mr. R.K. Datta, who is now the IG, Director General Police and IG, and Dr. U.V. Singh, who is Chief Conservator of Forest now. I think he shortly is retiring. Such like I had advisors really committed to the cause of the people.
True.
There was no politics involved in it, and there is no feeling of you are from that section of the society or this section of the society. No such thing at all. And everybody came out with open heart to help the institution. To in turn help the people.
Right. But see, when the institution was at its peak, when you were serving as the head of the institution, suddenly there was a lot of development that happened, and you had to resign, and there was a lot of things happened. Did you ever regret that fact that I should have continued?
I resigned, let me say, twice the incident happened. Once I got into something with the government was not cooperating. Then I went to the governor, Chaturvedi. I told him I don't want to continue with it. But he had taken a liking for me, maybe after seeing, I had not met him earlier, except that he administered the oath to me when I became the Lokayukta. And I told him, I don't think I can do justice to this post, so I want to quit. And the exact word he told me, like he quoted from Bhagavad Gita, it's like Krishna telling Arjuna, if you leave the war field and go out, people will say you are a scared person.
Right, right.
Don't go out. Stay there and fight it out.
Right.
So I withdrew my resignation and came. Right. That has not gone viral as it. I like my second resignation.
Right.
The second resignation was when we were preparing our mining report. One minister had been to Karwar, and he called one of the officers who was working under me on deputation and told him to come to a particular place. The officer knew that place was occupied by a person who was an accused person in one of the Lokayukta charge sheet cases. Okay. He said, I'm not coming there. If you want me to come to anywhere else, you call me, I will come there. But minister got angry. He called the chief secretary, and the chief told him to keep him under suspension. So he was kept under suspension. When I contacted the chief secretary, how could you keep a person under suspension without consulting me? Because he's working with me. He said, the order has been passed, there's nothing we can do, we can't do anything. Then I said, I thought, if I can't protect my officers who are doing such sensitive work, I mean, I don't deserve to be sitting in that chair. It is at my behest they are doing all these things. So I went to the governor, attended my resignation, which came out in the media. Mr. Bharadwaj didn't accept it, he kept it with him and all. In the meantime, many people came to me and asked me to take back the resignation because they said the institution will not do that much work as it is being done.
Yes.
So I said no, unless the suspension is withdrawn, I will not take up the thing.
Sure.
Then ultimately Mr. L.K. Advani, whom I still consider as my equivalent to my father because he's much older than me, the thing. And I had personal connections with him ever since he was in jail here. He telephoned to me, he said, Santosh, you're doing a good job, take back your resignation. I said, sir, how can I take back the resignation unless that officer, the suspension is withdrawn? Otherwise people say I'm a selfish person. Correct. He said, okay, I'll speak to the chief minister and see that the order is withdrawn.
Right.
So he spoke to the chief minister and I got a message that suspension has been withdrawn. So I withdrew my resignation. And at that point of time, I'm answering your question. Retrospectively, I thought if I had not continued as a Lokayukta, my mining report would not have come.
Absolutely.
And this was an effort for nearly for 2.5, 3 years, which my officers put such an amount of work to prepare that report. I would have been ingrate to those officers also.
Absolutely, absolutely. But after all that hard work, after all that risk you have taken to make that report, do you think the justice was done for that?
No. Except some people going to jail and being there for some time and saying, hardly any person worth any status has been punished at all. Lokayukta one can only prepare a case and place it before the court.
I think that was one of your amendments that you wanted to bring in the Lokayukta Act, that you wanted the head of the institution to be able to go and present the case in the court.
It's very sad, Look, nobody can dispute the report part of it, which says that the government of Karnataka got only 27 rupees per metric ton. And the very same metric ton was exported to China and Pakistan at the rate of 6,500 to 7,000 rupees. Now 1 ton is not even a grain of amount that is taken out. There are billions and billions of tons have been excavated, out of which partly they paid 27 rupees, other part they just stole, they didn't even give that 27 rupees. And they did such damage to the ecology of this thing. Everybody did the manner in which they wanted to do and grab it and run away.
Right.
But then what's happening? Recently the Supreme Court has taken cognizance and it is controlling the mining in the state of Karnataka. To that extent,
I
yes.
think that is all because of your
because my
effort.
report has given enough evidence of
Absolutely.
that.
Yes. So after all that, your resignation has happened. So how is life after that? I mean, when you obviously watch news, there was a lot of lokayuktas came and all that happened.
Very sad.
Did you feel sad that
Yeah.
I shouldn't have left it?
No, I had to leave it because I completed my 5 years term.
But I also, one of your interviews, you told that there can be an amendment brought and you can be reinstated.
That will be too selfish on my part. Yes, the law
But
can
for
be
the
amended.
good of the institution,
that was
as
for
well as
them.
good for the people, right?
That's for them. But why will they do it? These Lokayukta's actions are only against public servants. They are either political bosses or executive bosses.
Right.
And if a man is doing something proactive, certainly they wouldn't want that person to continue.
Right.
It's a wonderful institution. I wish things would have been better after I vacated that.
So during that 5 years, any good memories that you carry?
Oh, lots of it.
Do you want to share something?
Yeah, I would love to because. But one incident, I'm going to say it because viewers might not have seen a recent television interview of mine in a vernacular channel. The thing. In 2008, an handicapped tailor came from Bagalkot, near about Bagalkot, with his wife and a 6-month-old child. So I asked him, "What's your problem?" He says, "This child looks perfectly all right, but it has no rectum, born without a rectum. It eats through the mouth, defecates through the mouth." The local doctor said, "Take the child to a specialty hospital where a pediatric surgeon through surgery can get it repaired." They believed him and took him to a government medical college hospital where the pediatric surgeon examines the child and says, "I'll do it. Everything will be all right, but it costs so much money." Money is not expenses, money is bribe. Husband and wife gave all the money to the doctor. He counts it and says, "For this amount, I'll make a hole near the rib cage so that the fecal matters could go out from there."
Right.
Not being satisfied, they brought the child to Lokayukta institution. I also could have got rid of the problem by giving a letter to Victoria Hospital or Bowring Hospital. God knows what would have been the end result. I contacted Manipal Hospital, where I was getting treated for my medical problems, and requested the doctors to do it, and the administration and the doctors agreed, and the child was operated there.
Right.
And child today is about 9 years. The parents came for that show that day, and the mother was crying so much, saying that you're the one who gave a future to this child. And I very often wonder what sort of people we are. Here is a doctor, a highly qualified person. God gave him all the wish of being educated, becoming a doctor, becoming a pediatric surgeon, and he gets a wonderful opportunity of giving a future to a child. And he could have boasted thereafter that it's that child, I gave the future. I say, no, his greed was such. He was drawing handsome salary at that point of time with almost equal dearness allowance and other perks and a government job. And it is his duty, not as if it's a private hospital where without money you won't do anything and all. It is a hospital meant for the poorest of the poor.
Right.
But still, look how greedy people are.
Yes.
It's one of them. I can give another example of a person coming to me from one of the northern districts saying his wife has delivered a girl child, and under the scheme, Bhagyalakshmi scheme of Karnataka government, that child being born to a poor family is entitled to get some monetary benefit. But the social welfare department told him that you have no proof that you are from a poor family.
Right.
So we sent an officer to inquire and come back and report. And the report was that lady and another person walked nearly 7 kilometers from their village to the government district hospital for delivery. The staff, they said first money, otherwise no bed.
Yeah.
So she had to send the accompanying person to the village to get some money. Meantime, the staff said, "Don't sit here, go outside and sit." Without any of this thing, she went and sat in a bus stop. Before the money could come, she delivered a child in the bus stop. Can you imagine? Right in front of the government hospital. Look at these people. Fortunately, there is a legal principle called vicarious liability. Master is responsible for the mistakes of the servant.
Correct.
Using that legal principle, sent a report to the government gave the money. But look at the society. Very often I feel that today we live in a society which respects money and power only, nothing else.
Nothing else.
And if you talk about honesty, a useless chap, he doesn't take it, he doesn't allow others to take it.
Right.
This is the sarcastic statements that you listen about honest people.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, this is all, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of such cases,
See, by the way you're talking, it looks like you're still not satisfied. You still want to
No,
serve
I do
people.
carry this hurt in me because at the same time, it has given me great bit of pleasure
Yes.
that I could solve the
Solve
problem.
certain problems, yes.
And people do call me now and then when they visit Bangalore, they come and meet me to remind me of the olden days when they got some help from the Lokayukta institution.
Right. Anyway, sir, I mean, yes, all that life, we all know that how beautifully you've worked, how you took that institution to a different level, you set a benchmark. After retiring, what have you been doing? I mean, you've just...
The first few years, I was just gloating over my success in the Lokayukta institution.
Right.
Subsequently, I started getting some arbitration work, either from the court directly, or there is a system by which 3 arbitrators has to hear arbitration proceeding. One party appoints one and the other party appoints the other, and they together appoint a third middleman, the third arbitrator. So I've been getting some arbitration work. More than that, I travel a lot to go to different parts of India to give my experience as a Lokayukta to the youth, because they are the ones who can change the society in the days to come. So I keep sort of trying to speak to them as inculcating 2 values. One is contentment in life, what we call in tripti in vernacular, and another is humanism. We are not born human beings.
True.
We are born to a species called Homo sapiens.
Yes.
In my view, even though you are not born as a human being, in your journey you acquire humanism, exhibit it and die as a human being. There is no better glory than
Absolutely.
that.
True.
So I keep doing it and I really like it. As a matter of fact, I'm leaving today evening to Mangalore and to go take a car and go to Chikmagalur, where I'm addressing some students there.
Okay.
And I'll come back one
So
day.
you're happy and
I'm
you're-
very happy.
you're
I'm
enjoying
very,
your life.
I'm 77 years old.
Right.
I still travel.
Okay. So let's say, given a chance, elections are coming next year. So new government is coming. If they want to reinstate Lokayukta, if they ask your help,
I don't think I can do the same job because, as
maybe
I
you
mentioned,
can be a guidance.
no,
you can
I don't
give
think enough
some
is
guidance.
enough. I'd rather go and meet youth and change their views than have anything to do with the government.
Right. So you really don't want to do that.
No.
Okay.
I don't, because like those officers like Dr. U.V. Singh or R.K. Datta, I don't think I can find again anywhere.
Yeah, that is also true. Yes.
Look,
You had a good team.
I was very lucky. I was lucky in becoming a Lokayukta. I was lucky in getting these officers, and every one of them worked as a team, which gave us so much of success.
True. Cool. So let's come back to your personal life. What is that you like in Bangalore? Any favorite
There
place?
isn't much I can say about the present day Bangalore. I moved to Bangalore in 1956 to join college, and the population was about 4 lakhs.
Yes.
Malleshwaram was the north end of Bangalore, Baswangudi was the south end of Bangalore, Alsur was the east part of Bangalore, the other one before Rajanagar, that was Srirampuram.
Srirampuram,
Was on the west side. This was Bangalore.
Yes.
And a 4 lakh population in that area, you can imagine. I could cycle up from my house, my dad's house, from Malleshwaram to St. Joseph's College in Richmond town without seeing a single car or bus. That was Bangalore.
Right.
And to cycle up in Kaban Park, you used to get after hockey and you come leave the field around 6:37, it becomes dark. It used to be scary. That was Bangalore. Today, what's happened to Bangalore? But then, I'm a Bangalorean. No way.
So you feel proud to be here?
Yeah, in spite of all the lack of civic facilities,
right.
Yeah, I don't think I'll
you
shift
feel
from
nice
there.
about
Yeah.
it. Because you said you've been a traveler, you like
Yeah,
traveling,
yeah,
you've
travel.
seen a lot of places,
Yeah.
but still you feel that Bangalore is the best.
Both in India as well as abroad.
Abroad.
Both myself and my wife.
So what is
were-
that one reason why you feel that?
Oh, well, first of all,
The
the weather was good, not anymore. Last year it
yeah.
touched 40 degrees.
Right.
This year it was hovering around 35, 36 degrees.
Yes.
But then once you get attracted to a place, it's your last resting place. You don't want to move out, then go away. In spite of all the bad changes, I would still want to continue in Bangalore.
Right. So on a lighter note, so you've been a very strict officer. You've laid examples. People have been very scared of you, I'm sure. You've sent a lot of corrupt nightmares. At home, is it the same thing, or is that the way around?
No, we have had a wonderful life. I've been married to one lady for the last 48 years.
Right.
Maybe it's 2019 is our 50th wedding anniversary.
Fantastic.
Life has been good, and my family also has been extremely supportive.
Yes, because that is very important.
Yeah.
I'm sure during your role of Lokayukt, there might be some threats
Oh,
which could have happened.
I'm not least bit bothered about that. So, see, as a matter of fact, when I was retiring, then the DGP met me and he said the government has decided to give you security because my mining report had created a lot of ruckus.
Yes.
I jokingly asked him, do you guarantee nothing will happen to me? So he was a little upset.
spite of
Yeah,
the
he was a
security.
little upset with me. He said, why do you ask such questions? I said, look, what happened to Mrs. Gandhi? She was eliminated by her own security people. And what happened to her son? So then he cooled down a bit. He said, no, there is a personal interest also. I said, what's your personal interest? He said, if something happens to you, people will show fingers at me, that I didn't protect your life. So I said, thank you very much. I don't want it, and I've never taken security. I'm quite comfortable.
Fantastic. So you've got a lot of awards as well from your Bunds Award in UAE recently that happened. So are you open for such things, or you kind of avoid all that?
In the sense, when they want to reward me, yes, I accept it because I feel happy about it. The people do recognize it.
Right.
But I never keep sometimes award comes with money also. I never kept even one naya paise of mine. I got All India Management Association, of which Adi Godrej was the chairman in 2011. They gave me an award, gave 51,000 rupees, which I asked them to write a check in name of Jayadeva Hospital in Bangalore. Then I got another 51,000 rupees from Adi Chinchanagiri Mutt with an award. I said, Swamiji, keep that money because you're running an hospital. I got another award with 2.5 lakhs rupees from Latur. I told those people, you identify an institution which is doing good work, give the check to them, even though I'm supposed to get it, I don't want it. Then I got another 2.5 lakhs from Mumbai. Nani Palkiwala Foundation gave it, I gave it to Tata Memorial Cancer Hospital for Children's Wing. I got an award of 1 crore rupees from RS Jindal Group and all. And I said, I'm not taking it, but you write the check in the name of an institution which I will nominate.
Okay.
See, they said yes. Then I was wondering, who shall I give it to? If I give it to an NGO, people will say, he gave a check for 1 crore, took his 50 lakhs or 60 lakhs back in cash, and such like rumors will spread.
Yes.
So I telephoned to General V.K. Singh, who was the commander of the Indian Army in 2011, and I introduced myself and said, somebody is giving me 1 crore rupees, I don't want it. He said, give it to the Indian Army. So I gave it to the Indian Army Retired Soldiers Welfare Fund.
Wow. Okay.
So I never kept one naya paisa. Many other people are given 10,000, 15,000 rupees. Then and there I would give it. I never bring back that money. I'm very happy with my pension and the little income I get from arbitration. I don't need more than that.
Right. So, end of the day, throughout your career, have you ever cried?
Oh, not. I don't. No such situation has come to me which makes
You
me.
might have, seen somebody suffering because a lot of people meet
Yeah,
you, being
but
the
then,
justice.
but
being
then I had the power of giving them relief.
Right.
There was no question of crying.
You never felt helpless.
No, I did many a times. I felt helpless when I couldn't reach out to the people whom I wanted to reach out.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you very much for your time, and it's been a pleasure. So that's why we call you as the face of Bangalore, because there is a lot of things that we can learn from you. Is there anything that you want to tell to the viewers, especially to motivate them?
Yes, I just want my viewers to understand the society in which we live. And if you have to change that society, we have to inculcate two of the most important values. That is contentment in life, without which you get a disease called greed, for which there is no treatment, and humanism, which is absolutely necessary for peace in the society. Everybody should inculcate it, and in their children also they should inculcate it and see that this society is changed, and we build a society which boycotts the corrupt and the criminals.
On this note, thank you very much for staying tuned. We will come back with more in the next episode of Face of Bangalore. Stay tuned.